Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, I think I've only had to wait a couple years to try these beers. Slushy XL Jungle Juice is a 5.3% sour ale from 450 North Brewing Company in Columbus, Indiana. 450 North is the latest out-of-state brewery to get distribution here in southeastern Lower Michigan, and I believe the rest of the state. Now this brewery, if you aren't familiar, is one that people used to trade away a lot of their good stuff to get their hands on one of these. You may have also heard about them mislabeling some of their beer, claiming it was higher ABV than it actually was, due to some calculation errors on their part. Now, ever since I started this channel, I've heard, pretty much mostly good things about these beers. But we're going to put that all behind us. We're going to take a look at this beer on its own merits. But first, I'd like to thank my executive producers, Brian Kramer, David Jeffries, Vinny Cat, and Cam Freeman for helping to bring this review to you today. If you'd like to become a producer, help out the channel, or maybe just throw me a couple bucks to buy me a beer, take a look at my Patreon at patreon.drafttherapy.com, where you can get early access to these videos and a few other special perks that are available only to patrons. Let's take a look at the label here. So this Slushy series, this is known as the Slushy XL series. They also have Slushy XXL, but they're all this kind of sour ale. I think they're probably classified as Berliner Weisses, but they label themselves as sour ales. And on the label here, if we start at the top, these are all very colorful. We have the 450 North Brewing Company logo, which is like an interstate symbol or the sign with a smoothie on the front, or like a slushy, a straw going into a little slushy cup. It says Jungle Juice, and there are a lot of pineapples and palm trees and lots of green on this label. So if we turn it to the one side, it says Slushy XL Smoothie Style Sour Ale with passion fruit, coconut, mango, kiwi, and pineapple. And if we look on the other side of the spine, it says 1 pint sour ale brewed and canned by 450 North Brewing Company, 8111 East 450 North, Columbus, Indiana 47203. The government warning and the independent craft beer logo. It says family owned and operated, tells the ABV is 5.3%, and it says store cold, drink fresh. Due to the large amount of fruit in this beer, there is no canned on date that I can see, but I can tell you that these just hit the state within the last probably week or so. I think I'm in Wayne County. I believe some of the more eastern counties got it about a week ago. We started to just pick this up, and I can tell you that I paid a whopping $8.29 for this, probably $8.39 with the deposit, right, for this can. So, with all that being said, I'm going to use my Draft Therapy Tiku glass. 4-pack was at over 30 some odd dollars, right? So $8.39 times 4, whatever that is, it was like $34, around that amount of dollars. So, yeah, I'm stuttering because that's a lot of dollars for a can of 5.3% alcohol by volume beer. So let's put a nose on it. Getting a lot of fruity aromas. Getting a little bit of a dank, kind of funky, fruity aroma in there. Getting pineapple. Definitely getting kiwi. I guess there is a little bit of a passion fruit. I'm not really picking up on much coconut, but let's go ahead and pour this. It's coming out pretty yellow out of the can. Pretty thick looking, pretty hazy. We're going to just turn that up here. Oh, there's a lot of sediment kind of coming out. I wanted to keep pouring to get more of that sediment, because at first it was a little bit thin. We're getting about a finger of head, maybe. That's probably very generous. As you can see from the overhead, it has completely dissipated, but it looks very thick. If we hold it up to the light here, that looks like straight up like some orange juice. Like I've mentioned in these videos, since I've moved my lights around, it looks a little darker to me. To you, it looks very yellow. To me, it looks a lot more orange and kind of brown, but it's because you're seeing from, front lit perspective. I'm seeing back, it's backlit to me. And putting a nose, it's got a little, okay, so we're still getting a little bit of that funky aroma, but it definitely has loads of pineapple, loads of passion fruit, a little bit of a kiwi coming through. Again, not really smelling. Oh, mango as well, but not really smelling much of the coconut. I'm ready to dive right in, so cheers. So as always, we start with the mouthfeel. Just straight juicy. Like there's not really much of another way I can describe it. It very much has a juice mouthfeel. There's a lot of thickness to it. It feels it's medium. It's not like syrupy thickness. I like just pouring it and seeing a little bit more of the thicker, body come straight out of the can. But yeah, so the mouthfeel is just very juice-like, very, very medium, juicy, pulpy kind of. I mean, there's no pulp, there's no like literal pulp in it, but let's talk about the flavor now. So, I mean, the flavor, I guess to go along with the mouthfeel, there's also a slight carbonation to it, so it is almost kind of tastes a little bit highly carb, or high carb. The flavors that I'm getting out of this, lots of pineapple, definitely getting the mango, definitely getting the kiwi. I mean, it just tastes like all these different juices. On the tail end, there is a bit of a coconut that kind of comes through, that coconutty kind of flavor comes through in there as well. The carbonation has kind of like a pickly kind of feeling on my tongue, almost like if you sat on, not didn't literally sit, but if you held on to some pineapple for a while that's already been cut and everything, and it's kind of been sitting for a little bit longer, you get that kind of pickly, like prickery, pickly. I don't even know how to say this, but you know, you get that little pins and needles kind of feeling on your tongue from an older kind of pineapple. It kind of has that a little bit on the finish. This is like straight up juice. Like I don't taste 5.3%. Again, that's not like high ABV, not tasting any ABV in it whatsoever, though. It doesn't taste like alcohol at all. It's not quite, if you've ever had one of something like a smooge where it's a really thick, that's a seltzer, you know, it's technically a seltzer. This is a beer. Smooge is still thicker. This is very much on the same kind of level as what Arvon's doing with their kind of heavily fruited sour ales. You know, like basically all the stuff in their fruit line is very similar to this. This is a lot sweeter, I think, than most of the things that I've had from Arvon. Of course, this is one beer, so I can't really make a comment on all the slushy series, but I'm willing to bet that they are all very similar. So very juicy, very juice-like. Again, low alcohol. There's like no alcohol flavor to me. I feel like this is something that, you know, you could pick up for someone that might want to try it, that, you know, wants to try, basically like me, that's been hearing about these for years now at this point. If you wanted, somebody wanted to try something that's not beer, or you know, they're not really into beer, but you want to try and give them an adult beverage that's not like a pop or something, or a soda with you know, some kind of alcohol, some kind of spirit in it, this would fit that bill. There's not really much ABV. I have to say, I don't think it's worth $8.29 or 39 cents or whatever it was, because like I said, I could still go and I could go and buy an Arvon beer and get the same experience and maybe a little bit thicker. But I think as time kind of progresses on beers like this, where they're these big chase beers or maybe big whales or something that people are trading away a lot of really great things to get one of these, I think that obviously brewers catch on to that as well. They've tried these beers, they know it's in demand, so they're going to try and make a beer that's similar. So something like this where there's a lot of hype behind it, you get to try it, and it's still very good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this at all. I mean, it's very tasty, it's very juicy, it's very sweet. It doesn't taste like beer. But if you're looking for a beer, maybe you're not going to buy one of these anyways. But the price point is just a little bit too much at this point. And I know it's expensive because they use a lot of different fruit. I know that's what goes into it. This is not probably an easy thing to do. I was really surprised that this was not cooled, that the shelf life was I mean, it's pretty good. This just was sitting, this was just a shelfie at my local place. I mean, not something that's been there for a long time, but it was just out in the shelf. It wasn't in a cooler. Opened it, didn't blow over. I've had beers that have a lot of fruit in them that they tell you, like, put it in the fridge. If you don't, it's going to explode in your car. It's going to make a mess when you're driving if you leave it in your car, all that stuff. I didn't have any worry about that with this. I know, I think in the past, I don't want to say I know, but I think in the past there have been issues with it. But just to kind of wrap it up, I I just think the price point's a little bit too high for something like this, because there's so many other beers on the market that are very similar to this. Or you could just go to your local, you know, grocery store or party store, liquor store, whatever, and pick up a smooge. And you might be just as satisfied with one of those as you are with one of these. Again, not a bad beer, but I just don't think it's worth the price tag. All right, friends, that has been Slushy XL Jungle Juice from 450 North Brewing Company out of Columbus, Indiana. Now, they've been dropping a few of these slushy beers and even one of their IPAs as of late. So have you gotten a hold on any of these for yourself? Did you trade any really good beers away in the days gone by? Let me know what you thought or what you traded in the comments down below while you're down there. If you like beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell. I'm here talking about beer twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's all for free for viewers just like you. and you might miss your newest favorite, or you might miss to avoid a clunker if you weren't subscribed and getting those notifications. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries. These guys are in Columbus, Indiana. And until next time, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time. Cheers.